when you felt here at the entrance door was a total natural exchange between warm air outside and cold air inside. Because cold air is always heavier, so it sinks down to its deepest point, which is right here. And when you open up the entrance door, all the stored up cold air gets out. And on really hot summer days, this wind can reach speeds up to 90, even 100 kilometers per hour. It's quite strong. But in the winter, it's the opposite, so the wind blows in and it cools down this rock down to about minus 10 degrees. The rock stores all the cold then, and when it's spring and the snow on top of the mountains is slowly melting, all the water gets inside through little holes and little gaps and freezes here again, as you can see. Okay, to your lamps, please be careful, it's an open flame, so please don't let anyone up. Thank you. If you got any questions, my name is Johannes. We're gonna take a break every 5 to 10 minutes, but now for a quick warm-up, the first 300 steps.
I don't know what you can see, we got 300 steps. Next one down. Yeah. Hey?
They got me gloves.
I ain't touching the handrail, it's freezing.
Steps are icing up.
Hey?
Steps are icing up.
Yeah.
Get a bit closer together so the last ones can hear something as well.
Freezing.
Oh, ja, die haben eine Auto.
So the first 300 steps are done. And that's exactly as far as the Austrian cave explorer Anton Bossel came back in the year 1879. So back then he climbed around 200 meters into the cave and had to return right up here just because of his bad equipment and simply the ice got too steep for him. But before he returned, he marked his return point with a small black cross. Yeah, you could normally see this black cross up here on this rock underneath the wooden sign, but unfortunately this ring, so much ice grew over it, so you could barely see the wooden sign here. But here, to your right hand side, this statue is named after him. It's the Postel Ice Tower and Ice Stalagmite, which means it grows from the bottom to the top. The opposite would be an ice stalactite, also more known as an icicle, which you can see right here above us. Okay, but now I think we have to go a bit further, so around 100 more steps, and then the break again.
This is nice and cool in here. Skal jeg filme?
Wow, se der. Så jeg gad lige at lyse lidt der. Nej.
Okay, so now when you take a look up here, I think you can clearly see the reason why people had to return back then. This is the Great Ice Barrier. This wall right here is around 25 meters thick and up to 70 degrees steep. While back then, 1913, they had to cut out over 140 steps by hand to get up here somehow. Yeah, today we're not gonna do that. We're gonna take the stairs. But these stairs are still quite steep with an angle of 45 degrees. But luckily, only 60 of those very steep steps, and after that part, it will get a little bit easier. I promise.
Op eller ned? Jeg tror, vi kan starte helt lige fra. Hvor det nedad. Det er derovre, vi skal ned.
Okay, and so the steepest and hardest part of the tour is done, and now only a few more steps, and then finally it will get flatter. For real.
Yeah, I don't get a shock.
Okay, so please just wait here. I'm gonna be back real soon.
Nå, men det er Josh.
Hello.
Hallo.
Okay, and can you please get a bit closer together so the last ones can see something as well.
Jeg skal bare gå op med. Jeg ved nok, jeg bare tager kameraet ud.
Thank you.
Så far. Igen, det er lidt lyser nu. Fordi jeg skal være fast af det. Wow.
Okay, and so now here we're at the biggest ice sculpture we're going to see today, the so-called Hrungnir's Castle, because Hrungnir was an ice giant from northern old mythology, the Yggdrasil. Alright, and so now if you're wondering how all of these ice formations are made, basically, like all the other ice, from water dripping in through the ceiling and freezing inside again. But here above us, there's quite a big hole which allows more water to get in. This results in that this ice sculpture is growing bigger and faster than all the other ones. And now, how this wave shape here was made? Pretty simple. In the winter, we always leave the door open so the cold wind can get in to cool everything down again. But every time the wind blows in, it also hits this wall right here and breaks out a little bit of ice every time. So that's the reason why all of these holes and carvings over there, which you can see, they were all made by the wind. Alright, but now please go to the opposite side and wait in front of the stairs again. We will see us back there. Alright, so the first guided tours in here started around 1920, so over 100 years ago. But since then, a lot of things have changed. Like for example, the same tour that requires 1 hour today required up to 3 or even 4 hours back then. Also, there was no cable car, so you first had to hike up here to visit the cave. As well, the inside didn't really change since then. For example, this path you're standing on right now used to be 10 meters deeper back then, and all the ice sculptures were much smaller. This one only used to be a small line of icicles where you could walk underneath back then. But nowadays, that's not possible anymore, because the ice in here is constantly increasing. So since 1920, the ice grew around 30%. And now, if you're wondering why we don't use any electric lights in here, simple reason, because we want to keep the tradition alive. 100 years ago, they also walked around with this carved lamp here, with these stripes of magnesium. Yes. Hymier. H-Y-M-I-E-R. E-R, I think.
That's the English name, yes.
These ones, they aren't made. Most of them you're carrying right now are over 100 years old, I think, and were used in old mines, and there aren't any mines like this.
Old miners' lamps.
Yes. So this ice sculpture over here once used to be the most beautiful one of all of them, the ice elephant. But now you need a lot of imagination to still see an elephant here. Where the light is burning, the number should be the head, or to the right, it should be the feet. But now over the years, a bump around its back and his face totally worn away. So all the ice that you can see in here is constantly changing, which means some parts went away and some parts broke. But now, maybe a new name would be more appropriate. Some people say, no, it more looks like an ice shark. Some say more like a mammoth or like an anteater. But I think it really depends on your own power of imagination. Alexander von Merck cathedral with a length of 70 meters and a height of 40 meters. Here, directly above us, there's still 400 meters of rock before we reach daylight again. So at this point, we're quite deep into the mountain. Well, Alexander von Merck was the first who climbed up the Great Ice Barrier, maybe you can remember, the steep part we saw before, back in 1913. 1 year later, unfortunately, 1914, he died at the age of 27 years at World War I. His last wish was to come back and that this cave he loved so much and his best friends made his last wish come true. And that's the reason why today you can still see him right over there. But if he's actually in there, I don't know.
Noget af det går også opad.
Det er ikke tyndt, det er tykt. Det fedeste i hele grunden, jeg har set.
Correct. And so now here we are at the deepest point of our tour for today, the Ice Palace. So now we walked around 1 kilometer into the cave, but here in front of you, the cave would go on for another 41 kilometers. With these 41 kilometers, you can't really imagine it like a straight tunnel. It's more like a huge, huge tree, so very twisted. But the ice that you see here stops because the wind that brings the cold in the winter loses its energy right around here. And so then the wind is simply too warm or too weak for the rest of the cave to cool down. A little bit of ice is still growing in spring, but over the summer it all melts down again. As well, the oldest piece of ice has been discovered right here. So it is around 5,000 years old. It was found 8 meters underneath the surface. Okay, but now I think we're gonna go back, but of course, slowly and surely.
Isen her. Den ældste is her 5.000 år gammel.
we arrived at the last spot of today. You see behind me is the so-called Mørk Glacier, and you can clearly see all the different layers here. Normally, with these layers, you could determine how old it is. Like compared to a tree, on a tree you count the rings and you know how old it is. Here, it's actually the same principle, but now it gets kind of complicated because one single layer here could mean many years or almost many decades. So now, just adding up, you won't get any result. But the lower, the older, and the higher, the younger they are. And these yellow stripes that you can see here, they often mean that the ice melted in the past, because this is just sand and dust that gets in with the water and collects here because of the meltdown. Alright, and now we're done for today. So only a few more steps, then we've reached our highest point of today with 1,775 meters. And then luckily, only 700 steps back down again. And so after 1,400 stair steps, we finally arrived here at the entrance again. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour and had a great experience here at the Ice Isn't. Your lamps, I still need them, so please put them outside straight ahead at the wooden board where I'm going to put mine as well. We will see us outside real quick where I'm going to say goodbye. But in here, I want to say thank you for your attention, and I wish you a nice time here in Austria.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jeg kan ikke mærke vind. Det kommer nok lige her, ja. Der er den.
Kommer lige der.
Så var det boost.
Yeah, put your lamp back. Stealing the lamp. Oh, get ready for that heat now. Thank you.
Goodbye, guys.
Oh, I've just come out of the cave now. Jacket off, ready for when we get down there into the hot bit. Got a beautiful view up here. Come out for the cave. Look at that. That is stunning. Right, we're going to make our way down halfway. Well, a bit less than halfway, I think, to the restaurant. Safe keep eating garage food. I can sit here and look at that view all day. It is stunning. And as you can see, the cars down there. We're quite a way up. Cool.